The internet was rocked by T.I.'s plea to 50 Cent to exclude his kid King Harris from the documentary. The stakes are really high, given that King's life could be gravely harmed by the tape that 50 Cent has already leaked. T.I. is making every effort to preserve his son's reputation. The Harris family is now in the public eye more than ever thanks to a full-fledged documentary feud that began as social media trolling and diss tracks. We're delving into every detail, every leak, and the reasons behind T.I.'s intense efforts to protect his son from harm in this breakdown. You have to start at the beginning in order to comprehend how we got here. This chapter opens with a combat between Verzu and himself that never took place. When both rappers were at the height of their careers in 2006, the feud between 50 Cent and T.I. initially started. T was the self-described monarch of the South, while 50 was the star of Gun It. For years, the strain started to manifest in a competitive manner with sneak peeks. It simmered. It never reached a boiling point. They remained in their designated lanes. T.I. is running Atlanta, and 50 is running New York. However, something was always present. A sidelong glance, interviews, and occasional remarks. Hip-hop fans saw this kind of behavior, but no one took any action. The Verzu's era followed. On the $1 million worth of game, T then asserted that he and 50 had a handshake deal on the Verzus. However, 50 pretended not to understand what T meant when he made the announcement. Take a moment to consider that. They made a bargain, according to T. He makes it public. And 50 choose to be perplexed instead of affirming or even subtly disputing it. The rapper from Atlanta said that 50 had previously consented to a song-for-song battle with Verzus and then publicly ridiculed him after he made the announcement while feigning confusion. Now, that is an issue if you are T.I. You have stated publicly that this struggle is taking place, and the other man is trying to make you appear as though you made it all up. That goes beyond simple disagreement. That is an embarrassment to the public. What had begun as a Verza challenge evolved into something more repulsive. That humiliation did not go unnoticed by T. He began discussing it in interviews. He began to shout out 50. Additionally, 50, being 50, did not react to music or even direct dialogue. He reacted on social media in the same manner as usual. In an apparent response, 50 Cent shared a negative photo of T.I.'s wife, Tamika "Tiny" Harris, with the remark, "I keep saying, keep my name out of your mouth." Okay, that right there changed everything. This was no longer a rap feud once 50 Cent included Tiny. This was a private matter. The New Yorker even shared negative pictures of the 49-year-old son, King, and wife, Tiny. Many hip-hop artists have harbored animosity toward 50 Cent throughout the years. The list is extensive and includes Ja Rule, Rick Ross, The Game, and Fat Joe. One thing that is constant about 50 is that he doesn't just come for you, he also comes for your family and others in your immediate vicinity. And by sharing those pictures of Tiny, he achieved just that. 50 went over a boundary. He had no intention of pursuing the rapper T.I. He was targeting T, the family man, the husband, and the parent. The Harris household responded to that in a very different way. T visited the studio. In short order, the songs were written: One, Battle, Lessons, and What the Bully Did. And each one landed with the kind of specificity that results from sincere annoyance rather than deliberate marketing. Not one, not two, but 4 diss tracks. And each one was more difficult than the previous. With his third entry, Lessons, which online pundits and rap reviewers hailed as one of his best performances in years, T maintained the pressure. What Bully is his 4th diss tune. Attacked 50 Cent's online tough guy persona in contrast to his seeming unwillingness to deal with consequences in the real world. This was T.I. in his bag. He wasn't pursuing streams or doing promotions, just taking aim at a man who disparaged his wife and son online. As he prepared to release his final album, Kill the King, T reaffirmed that he was not seeking attention. He said that the same amount of attention could have been obtained with 50,000 in traditional advertising. The internet took notice of his insistence that the conflict had nothing to do with business. DJ academics established this as one of the key rivalries of 2026 by drawing obvious parallels to the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar feud. The message is obvious regardless of how fair that comparison is. This was hardly a small-scale argument on social media. It was a full-fledged rap war. And with T.I.'s sons watching, things were going to grow a lot worse. T.I. responded with a song after 50 Cent shared those disparaging pictures of Tiny Harris. One after the other, 4 diss tracks. However, T.I. wasn't the only Harris family member with an opinion. His boys followed suit. Following 50's attack on their mother, his sons, King and Domani Harris, intervened. This quarrel went from bad to radioactive because of the manner they intervened. As he releases his second diss track against the G-Unit boss, King Harris continues to put pressure on 50 Cent. On Wednesday, he launched Made Man, his debut. He made a very obvious point in that song. Don't treat my mom disrespectfully. King Harris is 21 years old. He is the son of T and Tiny, and he grew up witnessing his father negotiate the public spotlight, the streets, and the music industry. Therefore, King did not stand by and let his father deal with 50 Cent's pursuit of his mother. He entered the booth on his own. Made Man, his debut diss track, was a direct reaction to 50 sharing pictures of Tiny. It was a straightforward message. I came for you and you came for my mom. King, however, did not end there. Solace is the title. By ordering 50 Cent to excavate his late mother, Sabrina, from the grave, King Harris fights fire with fire. 50's late mother is featured on a t-shirt worn by T.I.'s son. At that point, everything changed from being intense to something completely else. In response, King Harris, the son of T and Tiny, wore a t-shirt with an image of 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who died in an apartment fire when 50 was only 8 years old. Give that some time to sit. At the age of 8, 50 Cent lost his mother. In a fire, she perished. And now, decades later, the son of his adversary is wearing her picture in a music video and printing it on a t-shirt. That goes beyond being disrespectful. That's the kind of thing that completely alters a beef's temperature. King didn't end with the clothing either. Harris is seen packaging several eighths bags of CBD into a bigger box with the name Ms. in an Instagram video. Jackson takes multiple jabs at 50 while rapping along to his most recent diss single, Drop Top. Sabrina Jackson, 50 Cent's mother, is depicted on the bag's label, with her name prominently displayed beneath the portrait. The internet reacted when King Harris told 50 Cent that he would go places that most people wouldn't. King was commended by several for defending his mother. He went too far, according to others. However, King wasn't the only Harris son involved. Domani Harris, 24, T.I.'s oldest son, released a nearly 4-minute diss track named Ms. Jackson, which sampled Outkast's famous 2000 single of the same name. This was the most divisive moment of the feud. Domani addresses 50 Cent's late mother directly in his opening verse. He raps that he wants to know if she is pleased with the way her son has been carrying on the family name. Tip's Kid addresses 50 directly in the second stanza, ending with a threat. T is now releasing 4 diss tracks. King is releasing several diss singles. Domani is releasing diss tunes. The Harris family as a whole was mobilized. You can tell how personal this feud has grown by the fact that T.I.'s whole family is now vocally involved in it. At least on wax, 50 Cent remained largely silent during all of this. 50 Cent did what he does best instead of reacting with music. He was a troll. 50 targeted T.I. and his family on social media, especially his wife, Tamika, son, King Harris, and Tiny Harris, with jokes, memes, and scathing messages. He maintained the internet roasting at high volume and released unfavorable pictures. However, 50 was not yet complete. He had only just begun. Because 50 Cent was working on something that could cause far more harm than any song, while T.I. and his sons were releasing diss recordings. He was considering making a documentary. 50 Cent took a step on March 5, 2026, that completely altered the nature of this feud. He gave up trolling. He ceased sharing memes. Additionally, he posted something on Instagram that conveyed a message that was impossible to ignore. On March 5th, 50 Cent shared an Instagram screenshot of a headline that said, 50 Cent is reportedly developing a surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary, but he swiftly removed it. You can know everything from the name alone. Keeping Tiny and T alive. That should sound familiar. The remaining R is purposefully echoed in the name. Kelly style. The playbook is the same. Additionally, it was once run by 50 Cent. It's important to mention the diddy-do. The Netflix documentary series on Sean Combs, which debuted in late 2025, was executive produced by 50 Cent. Many in the hip-hop community believe that this effort hastened Diddy's public demise. People so take notice when 50 Cent posts about a documentary. This isn't just a random person's empty threat. This man has already produced a documentary about one of the most influential people in hip-hop. I watched it do numbers after getting it on Netflix. Remember how quiet I got before the diddy-do? Dame thought I wasn't coming. I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to ask about your 20 sexual assault cases, was the caption of the since-deleted post. You might want to speak with a crisis public relations specialist. Read that again. Do you recall how silent I was prior to the diddy-do? That's 50 Cent telling T.I. that my silence is preparation rather than surrender. And once I'm done getting ready, you're going to have a problem. According to a number of sources, including Star 94.5, industry insiders are hearing rumors about the Gunnet mogul releasing another documentary akin to Sean Combs, called The Reckoning. The project's tentative title, Surviving T.I. and Tiny, would bring up past allegations of sexual assault made against the couple by multiple women. Now, here's some important background. Over 30 women and one man have accused the Harris couple of a pattern of drugging, kidnapping, and sexual assault, which they have fiercely denied. T.I. and Tiny have previously and consistently denied the allegations against them, which are said to span from 2005 to 2015 and include accusations of sexual assault, drugging, and other misconduct from multiple women. It is significant to note that the majority of related lawsuits have been dismissed in court. Many of the lawsuits have been dismissed, but 50 Cent doesn't need a conviction to make a documentary. He just needs a story, and the allegations are a story regardless of how they turn out in court. The documentary threat completely alters the stakes. If 50 is serious, the release of T.I.'s Kill the King album could be overshadowed. That's the play. T.I. is preparing for what he has called his final album. He's on a promotional tour. He has a hit song, and 50 Cent is threatening to release a documentary that would change every interview from discussing the new album to discussing the allegations of sexual assault. Here's the thing about Curtis Jackson. He has actually followed through in the past. The Diddy documentary was real and powerful and came after a protracted period of silence that people mistook for him giving up. It's unclear whether the documentary is officially in development, but 50 Cent has a history of drawing attention with such teases. That pattern, the silence, then the strike, is what makes this threat so real. 50 Cent went quiet during the Diddy situation, too, and people assumed he moved on. Then the documentary dropped, and Diddy's world changed. Unconfirmed. In a since-deleted Instagram post, 50 Cent shared a headline implying the documentary is in development and used his caption to lean into the threat. No official announcement has been made, but whether it is confirmed or not, the damage has already been done. T.I. is aware that the conversation has changed, so the documentary threat is out there, the internet is buzzing, and T.I. needs to react. We can go bar for bar, hit for hit, or doc for doc. Either way, all you're going to do is show how much of a FN you are. The Atlanta artist captioned an Instagram post that appears to be about T.I. on the surface, defiant, unbothered, challenging 50 to match him in any arena, music, documentary, or whatever. He hasn't yet responded to his queen's enemies on Wax Disas, but how does he respond? The King of the South made it apparent that he is not intimidated by the prospect of a documentary or any other challenge, but beneath that defiance, there is something else going on. Although T.I. is capable of handling a feud with 50 Cent, he has been in the business long enough and has experienced worse. King Harris, on the other hand, is in a different situation. In an interview with Laura Rosenberg, the host of Ebro, T.I. discussed his son's criticism of 50 Cent, and what he said in that interview tells you everything about how he feels about King being in this. The Queen's rapper stated after making fun of the Harris family with a photo of Tiny. When asked if he liked his child's answers, T replied, "No, I don't enjoy it. I spent so much time trying to get this lil Nama off the ledge. He now has legitimate ways to reverse everything I've been teaching." That's not a rapper speaking, that's a father. A father who has spent years attempting to mentor and steer his son toward a particular route, only to witness that road being ruined by a beef that King did not initiate but has given his all to. T acknowledges that he thought King had gone too far at one point. "That was enough when I saw that damn t-shirt," I told him. "I told T, man, calm down. I'm big on treating people the way I want to be treated, so I don't want to see my kids doing others the t-shirt, the one with 50 cents late, mother on it." He told his son to stop wearing the image of a dead woman on his chest, and he drew the line when he saw King wearing a shirt with a picture of 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, printed on it. He made it clear that he told King to stop right away, saying that he is committed to treating people the way he wants to be treated and that he did not want his children to go farther than what he felt was justified. Despite this regret, T expressed pride in what his sons did on a fundamental level. "The one thing about this that makes me pleased is that the women and kids in our homes recognize that there is a queue of men standing up against whatever the FK may be. We are not here to defeat. Rather, we are here to defend and safeguard what is rightfully ours. I have died in the streets over this __." T is proud that his sons stood up for their mother, but he is not happy with how far it went. Now that there is a documentary threat hanging over everything, King's involvement is not just a father-son issue, it is a legal and public relations issue because if 50 Cent makes this documentary, everything King Harris has done the t-shirt, the weed packaging with Sabrina Jackson's image on it, the diss tracks becomes material and becomes part of the narrative that 50 Cent can use to paint the Harris family in a negative light. T knows this, which is why he told King to stop. Just days after 50 Cent responded with his own song, "No One Told Us What We're Here For," T.I. escalated his ongoing feud with 50 Cent by releasing a new diss track titled Trauma Bond. The song highlights 50 Cent's attention-seeking behavior while focusing on loyalty to family. T.I. dismisses the threat, using his music to assert control over the narrative, ridiculing the idea that a documentary could define him and highlighting that T.I. remains focused on his family and upcoming projects. Meanwhile, 50 Cent did finally make an appearance in the booth. With the new Leon Thomas collaboration, No One Told Us What We're Here For, which is the theme song for the Power Origins prequel series on Starz, 50 Cent has finally responded to his current rap rival, T.I., in song form. 50 Cent Disc, who is featured on the theme for the new spin-off Power Origins, takes aim not only at T.I., but also at his wife, Tama Tiny Harris, and their kids, rekindling a nearly 2-decade-old feud. This is more than just trolling. To make sure there was no misunderstanding about the target, 50 Cent posted a video of the theme along with a photo of T and Tiny, captioning it, "They are going to learn to leave me alone." That is branding, putting the beef into his professional output, and that tells you that 50 is not letting this go. "They are going to learn to leave me alone" is a sentence that goes beyond diss recordings. We have a beef that began with a failed versus battle and escalated through social media trolling. It is about the documentary, what will happen next, and a warning that 50 Cent has not finished responding to whatever T.I. and his family have done thus far. When 50 Cent shared pictures of Tiny, it went viral. When King Harris wore a t-shirt with his deceased mother from the 50s on it, it became personal. Now, the whole Harris family is under constant fear of a documentary. The real question is not whether the documentary exists, but rather whether 50 Cent's Combs playbook can be replicated and whether T.I. has the PR infrastructure to absorb the impact. While 50 Cent has had success with true crime media projects like Hip Hop Homicide, T.I. maintains that the accusations against him are untrue. He frames the documentary as an attempt to stay relevant rather than deliver justice, which is T.I.'s public position. He claims that 50 Cent is chasing relevance. The question is not whether 50 Cent will make the documentary, but rather whether T.I. and his family are ready for what happens if he does.